Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live, co-host, Football Night in America, and the Chris Sims Unbuttoned podcast. All right, let me start with Notre Dame. Let me start with what the College Football Playoff Committee did. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think it's ridiculous, right? That Notre Dame doesn't get into the college. Like, are they one of the 12 best teams in college football? Without a doubt. Notre Dame could win the national championship. I've been one that's kind of been saying for a few weeks when I do college football stuff here at NBC on Saturdays, it's the best offense in college football. Systematically, the players, it's the two best running backs, it's NFL receivers, it's a big-time NFL tight end. So I'm shocked by that. They just got healthy on defense a few weeks ago. They've been shut down on that side of the ball. I know their schedule was a little less than in totality this year. They got unlucky. You can't ever sit here and tell me Notre Dame tries to schedule cupcakes. They try to schedule everybody. Some years, though, it just doesn't work out. They had the two toughest games to start the season out of anybody in college football. I want the best teams right now. Right? Notre Dame's played better football than Miami for the last 2.5 months. Miami lost at home to unranked Louisville. They lost on the road to unranked SMU, right? Alabama hasn't played good football in 6 weeks. And then they go up a spot after they should have been blown out worse on Saturday. That to me is what doesn't make sense. And I don't care about fair. I want the 12 best in. So I'm a little bit like, sorry, JMU and Tulane. I just don't give a damn about you. Notre Dame should be in. And yeah, it's a big travesty in my opinion.
But this is where there's always change. You need to have something like this for change, and now you're going to have change, and now it's going to be 16-team playoff. I know I've talked to Rick Neuheisel before, and he said, why don't we just go to 24? Like, I don't want to render the regular season meaningless, but I do.
No, right.
I want to encourage college teams to play quality opponents.
Right.
I want to know if we end up with 2 or 3 losses, we can make the playoffs, and we're going to play quality opponents.
Agreed.
That's what I want. We all benefit from that. Nobody benefits from my team playing Samford. It's a bad look.
Exactly right. You're right. Well, you're right. Teams like Texas and Notre Dame, maybe they're just going to go, hey, you know what? We're going to play Northwest Louisiana, Alabama State to start the year from now on. Sorry. Oh, your ratings aren't good? Oh, sorry. Well, the committee's going to dock us if we lose and make a good game. So, my fault there. And again, it's about the best teams right now. I know Miami beat Notre Dame in week 1, but let's take into the context. Freshman quarterback playing on the road. Texas A&M, they can win the national championship. They had to have a miracle play at the end of the game to win the football game. So, yeah, I don't love that Notre Dame's not in it. And I have no horse in this race. I just want to see the best teams be in it and the best college football product. And, yeah, it feels like they messed up. Ole Miss stays the same. Wait, what is the engine that has driven Ole Miss? The coach. That's why everybody wanted to pay them $100 million a year. They stay. And just nothing gets – that's like losing your quarterback, if not worse. They should have been dropped down spots at least. So I don't understand any of it. And, yes, it looks like it was a little too much trying to be fair to everybody instead of just doing what's right and putting the best teams in it.
Notre Dame Athletic Director Pete Bavacqua will join us in an hour from now. All right, Kansas City Chiefs, done?
Done. Yes. I mean, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Certainly not. I think it's done as far as the era, as far as what we've seen. They're going to have to change the roster a little bit and change their team, right? So, yes.
Well, put your finger on it, Chris.
Right.
Give me 1 or 2 things that changed with the Chiefs this year.
Okay. Well, first off, I think the first thing is we know they've never been a great running team, but some of these receivers they have, right? Xavier Worthy has not worked out to the capacity that they intended to as a first-round pick. Hollywood Brown, smaller receiver, hasn't really been able to contribute that way. That's why a lot of teams don't like small receivers. Oh, yeah, you run 4.29, but as soon as I do this and touch you, you run 4.75, and now you're not that scary, right? So I think they've missed on that. Right? The defense is not as special as it used to be. Right? When they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl, they were phenomenal, right? L'Jarius Sneed, McDuffie, they had it all. They could do different things. They don't have that luxury. Chris Jones is definitely on the downside of his career to where he's good, but is he a superstar, just take over the game week in and week out kind of player anymore? No. Nick Bolton, the linebacker, not quite having the year. Right? So they're a good defense, but they're not dominant like years past. And then on the offensive side of the football, it's just too Mahomes reliant. I mean, think about last night. Most of the plays that happen are him making magic, and there's just not enough of a systematical destruction of a defense on the other side of the ball. So that would be my 2 cents, Dan.
I start to look at the AFC, and you don't have Lamar Jackson probably. You're not going to have Joe Burrow in there. You're not going to have Patrick Mahomes in there. You start to look at all these marquee quarterbacks in the AFC, and this opens the door for Josh Allen. Like, this is wide. I know Buffalo's not great, but if I'm Josh Allen, I got no excuses now. I should be getting to the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, yes. I think you look at it at just its base, like that premises right there, sure. But have you seen Buffalo's defense?
Yes.
No, me neither. Right. We're waiting to see it. So, yeah, that's an issue. I say all the time, we're watching a modern-day John Elway to me. It's like the 80s Broncos where you're like, the team's really not that good, but oh, my gosh, this guy makes unbelievable plays every game and every big moment, and they win. And then he falls victim to, they didn't win in the playoffs, Josh Allen. And it's like, he can't do everything all the time. I mean, again, that's another game, even to another level of Mahomes. Go back and watch the highlights. I mean, it's 14-3 in the second quarter. It's 4th and 7, and they're already like, we're going to lose if we don't go for it right here. Josh Allen. And then he runs around for 7 seconds and finds a completion. So he's unbelievable. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen. Really, he really is. But one man can't win the Super Bowl. You need a team, and that's what you worry about Buffalo. They're not real great at receiver. The defense is very average. If the run game doesn't work, there's nothing else that helps Josh Allen, and that's what I worry about with Buffalo in the AFC.
Yeah, when I'm watching Football Night in America and you brought up the John Elway comparison, I said that's apt because
thank you.
Elway was dragging that Denver offense to Super Bowls, and then they realized that defense wasn't as good. They got blown out all of those Super Bowls.
And he took all the flack, right? Oh, John Elway can't win the big game. John Elway can't win the big game. And that's where he's so great. No other quarterback in football could have gone to the Super Bowl with some of those teams. That's how good he is. But, New England's a complete team in the AFC. Denver, we know the offense is just okay, but that defense is a Super Bowl defense. And the team that I'll continue to say to watch out for is the team you saw last night. Houston can win and go to the Super Bowl. Houston, if their offense is just average, they have a Super Bowl 2015 Broncos, 2013 Seahawks type of defense where don't be shocked if we're sitting there AFC Championship Sunday and the Houston Texans are in it if they can get in the playoffs here.
When I'm watching the Ravens and they get the touchdown reception, it's called a touchdown, and then even the broadcasters thought that it was a touchdown. I thought it was you have the ball and you take 2 steps. Now I then realize after the fact when they said it's not a touchdown, now it's 3 steps when you catch the ball?
No, well, yes, it's 3 steps, but it doesn't have to be 3 steps. It can be 2 steps and an act commonly known as a football move, right? And he catches the ball and extends it like this right off the bat because he knows, oh, no, this guy's going to try to reach and knock the ball out of my hand. He takes 2 giant steps and is a millimeter away from the 3rd step hitting the ground, right? A millimeter, like to where, did the cleat touch the ground? I'm not sure. Now, he's not going to turn upfield. He's in the end zone. And this is where we're lacking common sense at refereeing right now. You saw it live. You thought it was a touchdown, right? That was enough. And then on top of that, it was called a touchdown. And to me, doing this and extending the ball was a football move along with the 2 3/4 steps he took. There were some questionable calls in that football game. Last time I checked, when you have to catch a ball, you have to survive the ground. Watching it at normal speed, Aaron Rodgers with the ball trapped on top of his helmet, and the other guy has 2 hands on the ball too, and we're going to say he caught the ball, even though the process of the ball and catching a ball is not complete until you survive the ground and stand up with the ball? That makes no sense. So, yeah, Baltimore kind of got screwed over yesterday in that one. That's for sure.
Okay, does this quiet down the Mike Tomlin situation in Pittsburgh at all, in your opinion?
Not for now, for a few days, but they're still going to be judged by how this ends and what it looks like here down the stretch.
Okay, let me ask you. All right,
yeah.
Here's a tough question.
Right.
You're a Steeler fan, and I say you can make the playoffs, squeak in, but you won't win a playoff game, or you don't make the playoffs. and then the fallout from that.
I think that's what they want right now, right?
Do you think they want change?
I think they want change. Yes, just even being there during the Green Bay Pittsburgh Steelers game on Sunday Night Football a few weeks ago, right? Being there, you could tell the fan base is annoyed with Tomlin and annoyed with the Steelers. So there is something there, and I understand it. I understand. Hey, I've said a lot. It might be like Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles. A time comes where it's just run its course, and it's time for everybody to get a fresh new start. I would love if they fired him. I would love it because I want the Giants to get Mike Tomlin. That's what I would want. So please do that, all right? But, yeah, I don't, Pittsburgh is one of those teams where you go, okay. I mean, if they're in the playoffs, but I don't know if I really want to see them in the playoffs. And they don't make me feel a whole lot better with the way they played yesterday to just go, oh, yeah, they're fixing things, and here they go on the road to recovery.
Buccaneers losing. I mean, could Carolina win the division?
I don't expect it. If you're going to make me bet money, I'm still going to bet on the Buccaneers. I do think the weather helped them. Hurt them yesterday. The Bucs have to win with their offense. Their defense is just not very good, and it can't make big stops in big moments. So that's where, Bucky Irvin being back, Chris Godwin being back, maybe they can get Mike Evans back. And Emeka Egbuka's kind of, fallen by the wayside here a little bit here. So, but they're going to have to win shootouts. That's the kind of football team they are. And I think the weather yesterday hurt them. And then Tyler Shuck is showing that he's going to give the Saints some things to think about in the offseason, whether they want to draft a quarterback or stay with him as the starter.
Talking to Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host. You guys get the Vikings and the Cowboys? Sunday Night Football? Yeah.
I think that's who we got this week. Yeah, I'm not even there yet. Yeah, but I think that's who we got. Right. You're right.
Okay. Vikings got a nice win. J.J. McCarthy looked good.
Yes.
I'm still not sure about him. Still not sure.
No, and it's still early, though. And I think we all have to kind of remind ourselves of that. He's in a tough spot. There's things he's got to work on. There's no doubt about that. They can help him out a little bit, too. They can become a little bit better of a running football team. But his big thing is he needs to develop more variety of throws. I'm sure you've heard that enough now, right? It's the same throw every time. There's just not enough clubs in the bag. And then he's got to stay healthy so he can kind of lay down the framework, right, to get better week in and week out. Every time he kind of gets going, something happens as he misses a week or two of practice and can't play, and that's been a big issue too. But I know this is going to be an important last 4 weeks here to see J.J. McCarthy and whether he can solidify himself as a starter there.
The Browns announced Deshaun Watson is going to come back next year. But you do have Shador Sanders, who played really well.
Yes,
granted, it's against Tennessee, but he played well. He made some big plays.
I agreed.
Shador, you seen enough, though?
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen enough,
okay.
Right? I would want to see more, but I'm seeing things I like.
But you're going to have a top 4 draft pick.
Right. I know. They're set up, right? And they made that trade with Jacksonville so they could go get Travis Hunter. So they got some picks and they got some things on their team. We know that defense is special. They can add just some few playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. You go, Cleveland's not that far off. And Shador Sanders, as you see, plays big in the pocket, got a strong arm, has a pretty good feel for the game. He really does. He threw an interception yesterday. Okay, he's a rookie. That was a bad interception. For the most part, though, he's understood that his team's a defensive team. He's taking care of the ball. And he kind of pushed the envelope when he needed to yesterday. And Tennessee defense is better than people realize. It's just their offense is so bad it makes their defense look bad at times. But, yeah, I hear you. He's going to put the pressure on the Browns organization about this quarterback conversation.
Do you think Deshaun Watson plays again?
I don't think so for Cleveland. I don't expect that. I know they said that he'd be back and all that, but if I remember correctly, they can kind of get out of the deal after this year, this offseason. They'll have to pay a little bit of a dead money fine there, but all in all, no. I think the Cleveland Brown Deshaun Watson thing is over. It's run its course, and I don't even know why you'd want to flirt with it anymore. Right? Just be done with it. It didn't work. Move on. Start a new era with Shador Sanders or whoever they see fit.
Yeah, and the start of the year, I said, I just hope that these, rookie quarterbacks get a chance. Like we get a good sample size that we can go, okay, that guy can, that guy can't. That guy's a starter, that guy's not. And maybe we did that with Dylan Gabriel. They saw enough. Shador Sanders is going to give them
Yes.
at least a decision to make if they use one of their top picks to take a quarterback. What would you do if you're running the Browns?
Ooh, that's where I'd want to see these last 4 games a
Okay.
little bit. They got to protect themselves either way. I would still, no matter what, bring in some sort of veteran to go, hey, if it doesn't work with Shador and Dylan Gabriel, we got a guy here that we know we can put in and play. But I certainly think Shador Sanders looks the part and plays the part better than Dylan Gabriel. That's the one thing I'll sit there and tell you for sure. Yesterday was definitely a good building block. But, yeah, before I'd make that call, hey, I think these last 4 games and how he continues to kind of develop, the offense is expanding a little week by week, so he's more in the trust tree. Let's see where that goes. I'll give you a more definitive answer like early January.
You got the Eagles and the Chargers tonight. You got a better handle on which team?
I feel like if the Eagles can't run the ball, right, which history here this year tells you they've run the ball good in 1 game, and it was the second time they played the Giants. You are not going to beat the Los Angeles Chargers throwing the football. They have arguably really one of the most well-coached, creative secondaries in the sport. So when they get you into throw the ball every play mode, man, and then that simple, as we know, Philadelphia offense, Jalen Hurts not making decisions and throws in the pocket to throw to guys there, right? I'm going to take the Chargers winning a close one, even though knowing that the Eagles are the more talented football team.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys. Dan, say hi to those jerks, all right? Tell them I said hi.
Hey, jerks. He says hi. That's Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host, his podcast, Unbuttoned. And I'm telling him what game they have on Football Night in America, Sunday Night Football, Vikings-Cowboys. That'll be Sunday kickoff at 8:20 Eastern. We'll take a break. Our play of the day up next.